Hiya, so I said that I'd get the answers to the questions that were raised that we weren't able to get to in the workshop. So I'm going to work my way through them. I've got them on my screen and I've printed some of them off. So, okay, first one, any advice on a situation where the youngest child is struggling with being alienated and is witnessing negative behaviours from their older siblings who are adults and are subject to alienating behaviours from the parent they live with and have little to no contact with the non-resident alienated parent. So, little to no contact obviously limits the influence that you have, but that doesn't negate it. So, bottom line is there's nothing you can do to stop someone from alienating, stop someone from using those behaviours. This is part of their psychology. It is part of their defence mechanism. So you can't stop anyone from doing that. Obviously, when you go to court, it's about asking them to put protective measures in place that will stop the other parent from doing that. But in all honesty, without therapeutic intervention and long-term therapeutic intervention, those thought processes, those distorted thought processes that underlie why people alienate are not going to go anywhere. And so it's important for you to know that you can't stop the behaviours. What you can do is, in the time that you do have, is work towards giving your children, or in this case child, the best tools possible to trust themselves, to develop a strong sense of self, to develop critical thinking skills, to trust their intuition, to have emotional boundaries so that they're not taking on board all of the emotions from the alienating parent and feeling their feelings and then projecting them out and blaming you for it. So it's making the most of the parenting time that you do have, and understanding the vulnerabilities of someone who is alienated. And you're in a unique position because alienating behaviours are exactly the same as the behaviours that you experience in a relationship with them. What do you wish you'd known about yourself? What beliefs that you hold about yourself do you wish that you had healed? So do the work, go deep, either work with a therapist or, do some self-reflection, really understand why you ended up in this situation. What were those personal wounds that you had that allowed this relationship to continue? And that's where you will find exactly what your child needs. You have the gaps within you, and they're the same gaps that you can help your child to heal from. So do the work within you and then share them. Share that knowledge and wisdom, not blaming the other parent, not even talking about the other parent, but in modelling this new version of you that believes in themselves, has good boundaries, but trusts people, isn't afraid of the world. This is why the secure attachment, you reparenting yourself, can really help. So I'm going to leave a link in the email itself, in the body, to our Safe and Secure workshop that we ran in January, that'll walk you through some of the processes that you can do when you're communicating with your child. But like I say, I personally recommend, again, this is from my own journey, doing the work on yourself, identifying what made you vulnerable and healing them, so then you know what makes your child vulnerable and you can help them with that. Unusual position where kids have refused to go to the other parent's house overnight, but they haven't said the reason. But they have said the reason is me doing PA to Kafkas. So you're trying to outline how you haven't alienated, and actually it's your ex that has done 12 out of the 17 alienating behaviours. Can you direct to the info on separating parents, do one or two? I think you could say I'd done one at a push. Yeah, he's the one who's refusing contact. I mean, this is about evidence, essentially. This is about organising your evidence. So making sure that you can show all the times that you've offered contact, all the time that they've refused contact. In terms of what the children are saying, if they're saying it's peer, I'm not sure what age the children are, but for a child to be using that language in itself feels like coaching, like someone's told them to use that language. And so you'd hope that experienced Cafcass officers, Cafcass workers would recognise that, well, what do you mean by that? They'd ask some further questions. What do you mean? How are they doing that? How are they alienating you? How are they stopping you from seeing them? What are they saying? What are they doing? And getting some more context to a statement. And obviously that coupled with your evidence should break that down. Again, you can ask for them to do the child impact assessment framework, and like hopefully they would get the same as you. They would be able to see where that's coming from. And so, yeah, I think it's about you getting all your evidence sorted. So all your ducks in a row, what you can prove, all the ways that you have encouraged that relationship, all the ways that he has alienated himself effectively. And flip side of that is hopefully through questioning, or, good quality questioning from Cafcass officers. And even if they don't ask the right questions, knowing how to then challenge that report or analyse that report. And again, the tools for that are in Master Your Evidence. I walk you through how to analyse and challenge a report. And obviously Ben gave some advice in the workshop as well. So even if they go along with the children are saying that you've done X, Y, and Z, you can challenge that. You can ask, did you ask this question? Did you ask them how I'd done that? I've got evidence that shows this. You can just, again, place those doubts in the judge's mind, regardless of what Cafcass say and what they recommend, that maybe they haven't got the whole story, maybe they haven't asked the right questions, maybe there's more to this. In cases where a child is being conditioned to reject one parent, especially when they're still young and highly impressionable, what strategies can the targeted parent use to help the child think critically and develop their own unfiltered emotional responses? So going back to my point before, you are the key to this. How did you learn? How have you reparented yourself to do those things? That's where it lies. You are in this amazingly unique position where you have all the information that your child needs because you've done that work. And if you haven't done that work, start there. Why haven't you done the work? Do the work on yourself. I say identify what made you impressionable. What helped you to develop your own unfiltered emotional responses? What helped you to know the difference between what you feel and what someone else is feeling? And owning your own feelings and not taking on board anyone else's feelings as your own. What helped you to learn how to think critically? 9 times out of 10, we didn't have these skills ourselves. That's why we fell for it all. And so you've got to learn that. You've got to learn those skills in you in order to help them. And you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have it done, but just the process of learning it will help you. You can learn and teach, learn and teach, learn and teach. But it's a lot to put on a child and expect them to do all of it if you're not doing it. So do the work. I know I keep saying that, and I don't want this to come across as me shifting responsibility, but you're the parent that can put the child first. You are in this position. You have a gift that you can give your children, which is this unique perspective. And so doing the work not only helps you, it helps them. It seems a bit of a no-brainer to me to do that. And so I will, again, watch the Safe and Secure workshop that we did, and that will provide you with a lot of insight into that as well. How would I apply this advice at mediation stage pre-court? So the thing about mediation is trying to get you to agree. They're the middle party, but they're still trying to get you to agree. Now, when you're dealing with someone who refuses to agree to anything that you suggest, literally you could suggest to them something that works in their favour. Because you suggested it, they'd say no, just because that's that belligerent nature. All you can keep doing is showing your willingness to negotiate. So I always suggest go in with your three, your very best, what you really want, what you quite like, and what's your baseline, what you would accept, but you're not willing to go any lower than that. Go in top level, and then you've got wiggle room. You don't have to offer 1, 2, and 3, but you can move between your top and your baseline so that you look like you're making an effort. You know, you're trying to work with them. You're trying to find solutions, and they are the ones that would dig the hill. They very rarely come back with solutions. People like narcissists, they don't come back with solutions. It's their way or the highway. So it'll be no, that's not going to work. That's not in the child's best interest. No, that's not going to work because blah, blah, blah. No solution back. So be solution focused in mediation. You may or may not reach a solution, but get into the habit of being solution focused. For a lot of people, it's about getting your C100 so you can go to court. Now, there is something called hybrid mediation. Again, I'm not legally qualified, so I don't know the ins and outs of this, but I heard a lot of people have success with hybrid mediation, where it's legally binding and it's solicitors that do it rather than mediators. And so you can still get things in an order. But what you don't get is you don't get the adversarial aspect from it. You are buffered from that by the process. Again, I'm not legally qualified, so I don't know 100% how exactly it works in practice, but that's meant to be the best way. So if you're looking at mediation, I would look for someone who does hybrid mediation and ask them why it's more likely to work with a high conflict person, and then take it from there. But like I say, be solution focused where possible. How does it work when the child is still having regular contact with the target parent who's just adhering to the previous court order, but there is severe emotional and psychological manipulation, lies, fabricates illness, and constant false allegations happening that have been identified by CAFCAS and the school, and is currently under scrutiny of a Part 25 expert is pointing towards the same awareness of the situation? How do we bring it home to a bias and PA adverse judge? Well, when you've employed a Part 25 expert, the judge is essentially saying, I'm bowing down to someone else's superior knowledge in this. And so the recommendations of an expert would be very difficult for a judge to go against in the first instance. So if the expert is identifying that, is seeing these behaviours and the harm that they are causing, then, like I say, it would be very difficult for a judge to go that. Not impossible, but more difficult. And also that would give you more grounds for appeal, to ask for a change of judge, because at some point you can start saying this is not a fair case. The whole point of justice is that you are entitled to a fair hearing, and if multiple people are saying the exact same thing, CAFCAS have worked with both parents, the school have worked with both parents, and the Part 25 experts work with both parents, then this isn't a one-sided subjective opinion. This is top quality evidence, So if they go against them, I think you'd have good grounds for asking for a change of judge at that point. But like I say, it would be a big call for a judge to go against what a Part 25 expert recommended, because that's why you employ them. At the end of the day, you're spending money, or even the court, if it's public funded, then it's being paid for. And so if they disregard it, it's like, well, why have I paid this? You would have some financial recompense for that as well, because what's the point? If they were never going to listen to them anyway, why have you forked out tens of thousands of pounds for an expert? So I think that you're on the right path. Like I say, as long as the Part 25 expert recognises it, is able to put in place some really good, strong recommendations, then it would be very difficult for a judge. And even if they did, you do then have other options to look at that, which I know isn't ideal, far from it. But the judge knows that as well. The judge knows that they're in that difficult position. Do I have any info from how to do this in other countries? Anyone else doing the same as you there? I mean, there's lots of people working in this arena in America. There's research. So what Ben's doing around the research, there's Jennifer Harman is doing a lot of research. William Burnett is doing a lot of research. The Amy Baker's a really good person. In terms of the personal support, I'm less aware of that, unfortunately. But yeah, those are the ones that I know of. Next one is there joining forces with other organisations regarding parental alienation to get recognition? I don't think it's that it's not recognised. I think the guidance shows that it is recognised. I think that the issue is joining it all together. In terms of collaboration, it's so hard in this field. I've tried so many times and people struggle with it, and I've got my own theories on that. But I think as long as we're all singing from the same hymn sheet, yes, it would be great if we could all set up one big unified force, but actually there are lots of groups that are doing the same thing, and there is some crossover there. So yeah, to be honest, I don't think I'm the person to necessarily go be the person for this. If it's something you want to do, by all means try and do that, but I know it's been tried loads of times and it's never worked. So, question about IDAS. No, I don't know anything particularly about the IDAS. I do know that there are anti-PAs. There's a very strong group of people who don't believe that parental alienation exists. They believe that it's only for abusive parents. And so I hope that helps.